My, hello. So, all of you are getting? All of you are getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So I think just we have to wait for 2-3 minutes, then we'll start. All of you have got the material? Hello? All of you have got material? You have not the...
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, madam.
Actually, yesterday means I was out of station and I had not taken that laptop. That's why that is the problem. Today only after the class I will share it to you. Whatever the mail ID you have given, immediately I will share it. Okay. Hello, ma'am. Please share the material with this mail ID. Subha Lakshmi. Okay, you give the message to me. Otherwise, I will send another mail ID. They have whatever they have given. They will share it to you. Okay, to all. Today after the class, immediately I will share it. The PPT and the material, whatever we will discuss today. So now we'll start. I'll share the screen, that PDF file, 69 page. So maximum syllabus, whatever it is there in your what maximum topic related to your syllabus it covers. Okay, the mail ID, please you tell me. I will note it down. Subha Lakshmi.
Yes, ma'am.
Subha Lakshmi.
Subhalakshmi Rao 207@gmail.com.
Wait. SUBHALAXMI
ROUT 207
207
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
So many mail ID it is coming. Only one mail ID I'll share it, and you can share to all. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Today only. After the class, immediately I'll share it so that you can. So anyway, now we'll start. I'll share the screen. Is it visible? One PDF file?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here already we have discussed that regarding the data. Already we have discussed nominal data, ordinal data, interval data, ratio data. Okay, nominal data, yes, no type, yes or no. Ordinal data, ranking type, already we have discussed. Interval scale data, scaling, agree, disagree, 5-point scale, 10-point scale, 7-point scale, like that. Ratio data means units of measurement, that is your means income, expenditure, then height, weight. Okay, then analysis, already we have discussed that univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis. Okay, and now just wait. there is heavy rainfall. That's why. Okay. So I have already told qualitative analysis and quantitative. For qualitative non-parametric test, you have to apply. For quantitative parametric test, anyway. Now we'll come to the second step, that parametric test. Parametric test means univariate analysis. Okay, that univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. And what is univariate analysis? What is bivariate? Already have discussed. Just I will scroll it because already have discussed all these. Okay, nominal data. Then here these are some examples related to nominal data, ordinal data. Okay. These are some examples that you can read by yourself, and I think you will understand. Next, we will come to that what type of analysis you can do, that ratio scale data, what type of analysis, all the different parametric tests you can do. Then now I will make you understand actually that testing of hypothesis. It is there in your syllabus. What is the meaning of testing of hypothesis? Okay. So testing of hypothesis is the most important part, that a different type of test you can do in testing of hypothesis. So what are the different concepts related to testing of hypothesis? First, you have to know some concepts related to testing of hypothesis. First, you have to know the meaning of hypothesis and what is testing of hypothesis, why it is required. So any type of research, it is very difficult to touch each and every individual item in that population. Population means total in aggregate. Suppose you want to study for the university student, and in the university, suppose 5,000 number of students, and it is very difficult to touch each and every unit. Each and every unit means experimental unit. Experimental unit means, what is the experimental unit? For what you have to study? For the student only. That's why students are known as experimental unit. Each and every individual student is known as experimental unit. That is your X1, X2 up to X 5,000. So X 5,000 means 5,000 number of students. You cannot touch each and every one because all are not coming to the class. So it is very difficult to collect each and every student. The information you cannot collect. That's why you have to go for the sample. Population is the total aggregate. It may be animate, it may be inanimate. But sample means it is the part of the population. Small part of the population is known as sample. So population units you have to represent in a capital form, X1, X2 up to capital XN. Similarly, sample units, small x1, small x2 up to small xn. Okay. So a capital N is your total number of observation in the population. Small n, that is your total number of observation in the sample. Population and sample, I think all of you are clear. Sample means out of 5,000 students, suppose you have to collect only 500 students, and through that 500 students you have to distribute the questionnaire and you have to collect the information. That is known as sample. And what should be the exactly sample size for any type of population? That is also, there is also formula. Okay, so like that way you cannot take the sample. Suppose the 5,000 is the population size, you cannot take 10 is the sample size. If you take 10 sample size, whatever the result you will get, it will not match to your objective. You cannot find out any authentic solution or authentic result findings. That's why the sample size must cover the population. So what should be the exactly sample size? That is also most important to determine. So I think all of you are clear. The notations of population and size and population items and notations of the sample. Capital X, capital means it is your population, small means it is your sample. So capital N is your population size, sample size is your small n. Next we'll come to, that is your capital N is your suppose 5,000, small n is your 500. That xn is your, xn means unit, each and every unit. Unit means suppose it is the student, then each individual student is known as x1, x2 up to xn. Okay, then parameter. Parameter means these are some concepts you have to know in testing of hypothesis. To solve the testing of hypothesis problem, some concepts you have to know. Otherwise, you cannot solve the problems related to testing of hypothesis. So first you have to understand what is the meaning of population. Then you have to know that sample. Then you have to know the parameter. Parameter means the population constants are known as parameter. So what are the population constants? Population constants are known as sigma, means standard deviation, population standard deviation, population mean, that is your mu. Then population mean and population standard deviation are known as parameter usually. Okay, so standard deviation formula, you know, summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n whole root over. Here always population means capital X. You can see that here I have written capital X minus x bar whole square divided by capital N root over. Similarly, population mean, that is your mu, summation x by capital N, summation x by capital N. Then we will come to sample. Similarly, sample mean and sample standard deviation. What is your sample mean? Sample mean, that is your summation small x by small n, summation small x by small n, that is your sample mean. Similarly, sample standard deviation, summation small x minus x bar whole square divided by small n root over. Okay, that is your sample standard deviation. So sample constants are known as statistics, population constants are known as parameters. So parameters, that is your sigma and mu. I have written here sigma and mu. Similarly, sample constants, that is your small x bar and small s, that means small summation x by n, that is your sample mean. Summation small x minus x bar divided by small n root over is known as sample standard deviation. So like this way, you can differentiate the meaning of parameter, the meaning of statistics. Parameter means population constants, statistics means sample constants. So what are the examples of population parameter? The short note it will come. Parameter, statistic, population, sample, experimental unit. So all these are very, very important 1-2 line definition, and you have to give one example. Okay, so short note it may come in the exam, that's why I am saying. And it is necessary to solve any type of problem related to testing of hypothesis. You have to know some concepts or some notations that you have to understand. So I think all of you are clear the meaning of population, meaning of sample, meaning of parameter, meaning of statistics. I think all of you are clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. The next will come to testing of hypothesis. For this testing of hypothesis, these are some concepts already, just 1, 2, 3, 4 we have discussed. So this type of points means short note, it may come in the exam. That's why it is very important to understand to solve any type of problem related to the parametric test or non-parametric test. You have to understand these points. So first one, population. Then second, any statistics fundamental books, you will get these concepts if you go for that chapter testing of hypothesis. Okay, so population, what is the meaning of population? Meaning of sample, sampling, parameters, statistics, population size, sample size, null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, sampling error, producer risk, level of significance, consumer risk, type 1 error, type 2 error, large sample test, small sample test, critical region, critical value. So one by one, I will make you understand through one example so that you'll be clear and you can write by yourself. Okay, so population, the meaning of population here I have written, the aggregate of whole observation in any experiment, it may be finite or infinite, animate or inanimate, is called population. Okay, so already I have discussed that one. So population size means it is denoted by population size capital N. Capital N is known as the population size. Suppose for our example, it is 5,000 number of students in Sambalpur University or Utkal University. Then sample means the small part of the population is known as sample. It may be means small part means it may be 500 number of students. Just you have to choose from the out of these 5,000 students, and you have to go for testing, and you have to draw the conclusion regarding the population. That means through sample testing only, you have to draw the conclusion about entire Utkal University students. So through 500 students only, you have to draw the conclusion related to 5,000 number of students. That's why it is very important how to choose the sample and go for sample testing. That's why you can draw the best finding or best result for your population. Okay, that's why it is very important one. Then next one, it is coming sample size. So sample size means already I have told what should be the exact sample size, how to choose the sample from the population. It is a very important task that you have to know, and sample size is always denoted by small n. The next one, it is coming sampling. What is the meaning of sampling? Sampling means how to draw the sample from the population. That is also very important. The method of drawing the sample from the population is known as sampling. So how to draw that one? It may be related to that. I'll make you understand. This is one long question. So first, whatever it is there in your material, I will discuss. Then whatever it is left and it is there in your syllabus, I will discuss one by one. And for that also, I will send you the material. Sampling. What are the different methods of sampling? And one by one, I'll make you understand. Okay. Just I am saying here one example. The method of sampling, method of drawing the sample from the population is known as sampling. That means you can follow the probabilistic sampling. You can follow the non-probabilistic sampling. So probabilistic sampling, under that there are so many different methods it is coming. That is simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling, quota sampling. There are so many different methods, and judgment sampling, purposive sampling, snowball sampling. Okay, there are so many different methods. Which method you have to follow? Different cases, different method you have to follow. But out of this probabilistic sampling, the stratified method of sampling is the best one. But it is very important for different type of experiment. You cannot, all experiment you cannot apply that any one single method of the sampling. That means all the methods you cannot apply. Okay, so different method, different experiment, different type of method you have to implement, so that you will get the best results. Next, it is coming testing of hypothesis. So this is the most important part of your research. That what is the meaning of testing of hypothesis? What is the meaning of first hypothesis? Then we'll go for testing. So what is the meaning of hypothesis? Hypothesis means supposition or assumption. Means that suppose you know that if you know that suppose you are going for doing the research related to Utkal University students, the IQ level or any IQ level. Okay. Then Utkal University students, that is your all the students, 5,000 number of students, it is your population, but it is very difficult already. I have told, if you go for population study, that's why you have to draw the sample from the population, that is 500 only. So out of these 500 students, you have to go for testing. Okay, and whatever the conclusion you draw, it is the conclusion for the entire 5,000 students of Utkal University. That's why it is very important that what should be your sample unit, and how to go, which test you will apply. And in that case, first you have to frame the hypothesis, whether it is true or not. That is most important one, because you are not going for testing the population units, only you are going for testing the sample units. That's why you have to go for assumption, or you can say that supposition, or you can say that means any type of assumption you have to take, and you have to what type of assumption that you will take, that Utkal University students are intelligent, because you are testing for IQ level. That means you have to take the assumption that all the students of Utkal University, means Utkal University students are intelligent. That is your assumption, because your objective is to test for the IQ level for Utkal University students. That's why, or DDC students, or whatever you can say. Then after taking that assumption, then only you have to go for testing, whether that statement you have taken for Utkal University entire student, whether it is true or not. So how to test? For what value you have to test? Only sample value. So through sample testing only, whether your statement, whatever you have taken the assumption, it is true or false, that you have to go for testing. That's why it is known as testing of hypothesis. So whatever the hypothesis you have taken, whatever the assumption you have taken, whether it is true or false, through sample testing or parametric test, which test you will apply, that I will make you understand one by one. You have to go for drawing the conclusion that your hypothesis, whether it is true or false. I think all of you are clear the meaning of hypothesis, testing of hypothesis. Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Very good. The next one will come to sampling error. So sampling error means it is the error committed in sampling. Whenever you are drawing the sample, sometimes there you may commit some error. So the error, it may be two types, type 1 error and type 2 error. Type 1 error and type 2 error. So what is a type 1 error? Type 1 error means means all time you cannot say that your whatever the because you are going for testing only the sample, not population. So whenever you are drawing the sample from the population, means which students, the 500 number of students you are drawing from the population, you may commit some error. That type of error is divided into two parts. That is your type 1 error and type 2 error. What is the meaning of type 1 error and type 2 error? So the meaning of type 1 error is probability that your population is true, but you are rejecting it. That means I am giving you the best example. Suppose you have gone for purchasing the rice. You have gone for purchasing the rice. Somewhere there is a heavy wind, it is coming, and the bag full of rice, that is your population in the shop. Okay, there are so many different bags of rice, full of rice, but somewhere it is the heavy wind blowing, and some straws, leaves, it is coming to that full of bag of rice. And whenever you are drawing the sample of rice, means handful of rice, that is your sample size, bag full of rice is your population or lot, you can say. But whenever you are drawing the sample, that is your handful of rice, some straws and leaves, it is coming to your handful of rice, and you are thinking that that particular bag full of rice, it is wrong one, and you are rejecting it. But exactly that bag full of rice is correct one. It is correct one. It is good quality. But through that wind blowing, heavy wind blowing, some leaves and straws, it is coming to the bag full of rice. And unfortunately, whenever you are drawing the handful of rice, it is coming. That's why you are rejecting it. That means actually the item is, the population is true. H0 means hypothesis, null hypothesis, that is your population. Population is true, but you are rejecting it. That means there you are committing some error. Actually, the bag full of rice is correct one, but you are rejecting that one. So you are committing some error. That type of error is known as, probability of type 1 error is known as alpha. It is denoted by alpha. So it is otherwise known as producer risk. So why it is for producer risk? Producer risk means producer has produced the correct one, correct product, correct rice. Okay, but you are rejecting that one. That's why the risk is coming under producer only. So probability of type 1 error is otherwise known as alpha, and it is otherwise known as producer risk. So I think all of you are clear the meaning of type 1 error. All of you are getting the meaning of type 1 error?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Then type 2 error. Type 2 error, the example is type 2 error. I am saying that type 2 error, actually the lot is wrong one, but you are accepting it. There also you are committing error. Wrong one means, suppose you have gone to that Kotak bus stand. Okay, Kotak bus stand, you have gone to Kotak bus stand and you have to purchase some orange from that shops in the bus stand only, and you are choosing the correct one. But whenever they are giving after final means suppose the weight it is completed 1 kg orange, whenever they are giving you in the black polythene and you have not seen there, and you have gone to your home, after that you are checking some orange it is rotten, some orange it is defect. Okay, but you have chosen the correct one. You have chosen the correct one, but whatever they have given, just they are giving you, they have given you that defective orange, and you cannot return it because you have already left that place. And that means here also you are committing some error. That means the lot is wrong one, but you are accepting it. Okay, the lot is wrong one. Lot means H0, null hypothesis. You are thinking that it is the correct one, but it is wrong actually, but you are accepting it and you are purchasing it. Here also you are committing some error. That means probability of type 2 error or probability of H0 is false for given accepting, means you are accepting it. That is denoted by beta, and it is otherwise known as consumer risk. Why it is consumer risk? Because it is wrong, but you are accepting it. That type of risk is coming under consumer only, that consumer. So it is otherwise known as consumer's risk. Okay, so beta is known as consumer risk, alpha is known as producer risk, and it is otherwise known as probability of type 1 error, that is your alpha, probability of type 2 error, that is your beta. So like this way, this is known as the sampling error. Next one, it is coming the most important one, that is your null hypothesis. So what is the meaning of null hypothesis? So null hypothesis, already I have told about that hypothesis, that means your assumption. So hypothesis is of two types. One is your null hypothesis, another one is your alternative hypothesis. So under null hypothesis, how to denote that null hypothesis? H0. It is a definite statement about the population parameter, and it is a hypothesis of no difference. It is a hypothesis of no difference. Okay. Similarly, hypothesis of no difference means that it is always equal and it is denoted by H0. And I have given you one example that average mark of the students, suppose it is 25, average mark of the student, suppose it is 25, and always you have to write the population statement, population parameter. You cannot write the sample because you have to test for the population only. So what are the population parameters? Mu and sigma, already I have told. That's why I have given one example, H0, that is a null hypothesis. Always it is a definite statement about the population parameter. Means always you have to draw the conclusion about the population by testing the sample only. That's why your hypothesis must be related to population only, because you want to draw the conclusion about the population. That's why in null hypothesis, you have to write, suppose you have to study for the average, that means population mean mark of all the students, let it be 25. Okay, this is your null hypothesis. So what is your alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis, that is your just alternate to the null hypothesis, H1. So H0 and H1. H0 is your null hypothesis, H1 is your alternative hypothesis. And this is just alternate to the null hypothesis. Okay. So alternative hypothesis, again, it is of two types. One is your one-tailed test, another one is your two-tailed test. One-tailed test and two-tailed test. So what is the meaning of one-tailed test and two-tailed test? Just I'll give you one example. So one-tailed test means, suppose you want to study that only only study that average mark of the students Hello.
Again, madam.
Actually, unfortunately, it was disconnected. Again, I have joined. Okay. So now again, I'll share this one. Just wait. Post disable participant screen sharing. So what I'll do?